We live in a world full of beautiful things. We have sights to see, things to do. But what if all these things were taken away from us? That is the life of a Chinese factory worker. They leave home to work in factories in terrible conditions with little to no free time. The workers labor to fulfill America's consumers' needs, whether it be athletic shoes, clothing, or even smartphones. So we asked a few people a simple question. Do you have a smartphone?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Then we asked them whether or not they knew where their phone was built.
No. Yeah. Where was it? China. Let's say China.
In 2015, according to a poll released by ABC News, 64% of the people in the United States own a smartphone. It takes 200 pairs of hands to make one running shoe. Therefore, the extreme demand of smartphones leads to gigantic sweatshops and factories being built in China to create enough products to keep up with consumer needs. However, what they don't tell you is that these smartphones are built by Chinese workers living in terrible conditions. 16-hour workdays, often in dangerous conditions, 10 people sleeping inside one cramped room, often metal bunks with no mattresses. These are the conditions faced by the average Chinese worker.
I've seen the whole entire interviews where they take them to the whole the factories and they have to put suicide nets because various workers have thrown themselves off the building.
In 2010, 18 workers from a Foxconn factory attempted suicide. 14 of those were successful.
I know they get paid really bad. The working condition is pretty bad too. I know they lose body parts from all this. Yeah.
Though factories do compensate their workers if they have work-related injury, it is the bare minimum they must do. They now have set up a rigorous 4-step process to decide how much they should compensate for the worker, and most of the time, the number is extremely low. Sweatshops, however, do not even provide compensation for work-related injuries, though in 2009 alone, approximately 1 million workers were injured in sweatshops. The conditions are not the only problem in the factories. Life inside factories is turbulent, petty theft being rampant, gangs also thriving in the factory culture as well. However, the true problem lies in the fact, when we asked what they would do if they were in the government's position, many of the people said, this is not a problem that should go unnoticed as it has been for the past 4 decades. Many non-profit organizations, such as Workers' Empowerment, struggle in vain because the government is not doing anything about this apparent problem. But we can still make a difference. Recently, footage of Chinese factories has been released to the public, and people are becoming more and more aware that this is a problem. We have had 40 years to fix this issue, and we have postponed it until now. Government papers have identified the problem, and it is clear that the government knows of the issue, but yet it still refuses to take action. We must raise our voices and take action for ourselves. Not for the government, or for money, or for politics, but for the factory workers and their scarred hands.